Okay, so we are learning the halachot of Hanukkah, and we started already last week. And we want to continue also this week with the halachot of Hanukkah. We will discuss the time, when is the best time to light Hanukkah candles, from when, until when, and we'll discuss also a bit of where do we light. Okay, so that's what we're going to discuss today. And although Hanukkah happens every year, still, for some reason, we always have questions because sometimes we have new things, or sometimes we forget, or sometimes just new cases beforehand. Okay. If the recording stops in the middle, it's because my battery is low, but that's hopefully we'll survive that too. So when is the best time for lighting the Hanukkah candles? In the times of the Gemara, it's from when the sun sets until until there's no more people walking outside. And in the times of the Gemara, there were the last people who used to sell probably candles, fire for the cold outside, so you need something to warm up your houses. Those last people, when they walk outside, so that's the end of the time of lighting the Hanukkah candles, and it's about half an hour after it becomes dark.
We're talking about
So here's a good question. We're talking about what? And we have here a machloket, an argument. When do we start lighting candles? Do we start lighting candles from Tzet HaKochavim, then it's really dark? Or do we light candles from the time of the Shkia when it starts becoming dark? So that is a machloket. And we have machloket. You can assume we have two main minhagim. Okay, we have some who light candles, open the Shulchan Aruch, just read it inside. I'll read the Shulchan Aruch inside. Says the Shulchan Aruch in Siman Taf Reish Ein Bet, 672. Ein madlikim ner Chanukah, you don't light Chanukah candles, kodem shetishka hachama, before the sun starts going down, ela, rather, im sof shkiata, the end of the candle, the end of the sunset. So obviously the question will be, what is the end of the sunset? Lo me'acharim ve'lo makdimim. You don't light later and you don't light earlier. Why don't you light later? In those times, if you light too late, there's no one to see the candles outside. Why don't you light earlier? People don't see it. So what's the point of lighting a Hanukkah candle when there's no Pirsumei Nisa in the Hanukkah candles? V'yesh mi sheomer, some say, the Shulchan Aruch continues, some say, שאם הוא טרוד, if he's very busy, יכול להקדים מפלג המנחה ולמעלה. He can light from פלג המנחה, it's a bit more than an hour, depending on the winter, the days, an hour and a quarter, more or less on an even day, before sunset. Yes, you can light from פלג המנחה. As long, ובלבד שייתן בה שמן עד שתכלה רגל מן השוק. So as long as you put enough oil, and it will last for half an hour after the sun goes down, so you can light from Plag HaMincha. So let's discuss the beginning of a time. We have the common minhag of many, many people is you light the candles from Tzeit HaKochavim. Tzeit HaKochavim. As we saw, some say, and also that's the minhag of the Gra, you light candles at the Shkia. Okay, at the Shkia. Said the Shulchan Aruch, that's the time for lighting candles. You don't light beforehand. Shulchan Aruch does bring an opinion that if you're very busy, you're going out for something, an event, you won't be able to light later, so you can light from Plag HaMincha. What do we do on Shabbat? Shabbat, you can't light candles at the Shkia. We light before the Shkia, after Plag HaMincha. So that's about Shabbat. I say it's about an hour and a quarter before Tzet HaKochavim, and it depends on how long the day is. So in the winter, it's about an hour, more or less an hour before Tzet HaKochavim, before the stars come out. So that's when we start lighting candles. And as we said, we have two main minhagim from the Shkia, from the sunset, and from the Tzet HaKochavim, from when the stars coming out. And people who light from Tzet HaKochavim, they'll first daven Mariv, because we have the rule of Tadir v'sheino Tadir. Tadir kodem, something which is common and something which is not common. So first you do the something which is common, happens all of the time. So first we daven Mariv, and then we light Hanukkah candles. Okay, so that's about when to start lighting. until when can we light candles? So in the times of the Shulchan Aruch, it says, you don't light after, or you should not light, better not to light until half an hour after the Tzedek HaChavim, because then there's no people out. Says the Shulchan Aruch, that what happened if a person didn't light at Tzedek HaChavim, he did not light when the stars came out, he can light in all of that half an hour. That's lechatchila. He can light in all of that half an hour after Tzedek HaChavim. Okay, Tzedek HaChavim, let's say it's around 5 o'clock. It's now 5:30. What does he do? Okay, what does he do? So says the Shulchan Aruch, even if that time passed and he did not light, he can light the whole night. Okay, so a person can light Hanukkah candles the whole night. Okay, and it says the Mishnah Berurah, you can even light with a bracha, with a blessing. But, says the Shulchan Aruch, you can light with a blessing only if there's people who will see the Hanukkah candles besides you. Let's say you have a family and they are awake and they'll see the Hanukkah candles, then you can light the candles with a blessing even at midnight. But if you come home from somewhere at 3 o'clock in the morning, everyone's asleep, you don't want to wake them up. It's not nice to wake them up. So a person lights without a bracha. We can understand from the Shulchan Aruch that in order to say the bracha, other people need to be able to see it. So many times in our days, especially if you live in a very busy area, not sure if it's Penavo, it's a busy area, but if you live in a busy area, you can light even at midnight and with a bracha without problem. And even in a place like Mitzvah Nevo, for example, so for sure until 9 o'clock, people are still walking in the street, going back from work, going right back from parties. There's a minyan at 10 o'clock even. There's a minyan at 11 o'clock still. What?
11 o'clock too.
There's a minyan at 11 o'clock, and the parking place around the minyan, it's still full. So if you live on a street coming towards a shul, so probably in this neighborhood, you can light until 11. If you live close to the shul, if you live below the shul, so maybe you can't. I'll say you can't. Maybe not so much lechatchila. Which means, and that comes to a very, very practical question. A person, he's coming late from work. He'll be home at 7. What should he do? Should he ask his wife to light for him Hanukkah candles in his name? Or should they light together as a family at 7? Let's say if the wife is out, should the husband light by himself, or should they light together as a family at 7 o'clock? On one hand, as early as possible. On the other hand, people today are awake and going out of the house. 7, 8 people are still outside. And there is an idea of people lighting together, feeling the lighting together, being part of the mitzvah, feeling part of the mitzvah. So Rabbi Eliezer Melamed writes, based on the ideas we saw here, that today, when people are out until later times at night, you can even wait until 9 o'clock if there's a need for, even not such a day, but if there's a need, you're coming back late, one of the family members is coming back late and you want him to be part of the family, you can wait until 9. And it's fine. It's fine to wait until...
Do with the family, then do it in the big tree?
Depending how. If each one, in Ashkenazi one, if each one will light his own candle, so they can do it individually. But if it's many times the wife doesn't light, she relies on the husband. So if the wife is out of the house, so wait for her to come back home. Or if some people get very stressed, it's 1 minute to 5. We have 1 minute to light candles. Oh dear, right, let's get ready already. Then you can calm down. Lechatchila, we should light as soon as possible, but we don't have like this 1 minute for lighting candles, especially in our days. People are awake until 9 o'clock. So it's better to be calm and to create a feeling of the Hanukkah and thanking Hashem and praising Hashem for the Hanukkah instead of being stressed about it. And when we have such a long time to light candles during our days, nowadays. So that's a very important halacha about what time to light candles. From here, can we light earlier? So that we need only if there's a need. If there's a need to light earlier, we can light earlier. If someone says, Erev Shabbat, it's a need. If someone says, look, let's say Tzedek Kochavim is at 5. Okay, and he says at 4:15 I'm going out of the house. I'll be back at 7. When should I light? 4:15 or 7? The Shulchan Aruch says he brings only one opinion you can light beforehand if there's a big need and you want to come back afterwards. But today, if you come back at 7, there's still people outside. If one says, I'm going out at 4:15, I'm going to a wedding, and I'll be back home at midnight. Obviously, we'll tell him, light at 4:15, because until you come back, that will be late. But if one says, I'm going to 4:15 to a Hanukkah party, I'm driving to my parents, I'll be back at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, my family will be awake, people outside will still be walking outside. So light Hanukkah candles when you come back. Okay, light Hanukkah candles when you come back. So that's the question of when. Last week we discussed a bit of where. Where do we light Hanukkah candles? And we talked a bit about needing to have a house. For Hanukkah candles, the idea of the house, it reminds us of Beit HaMikdash, it reminds us of one of the decrees of the Greeks of not having doors to our house. I'm not sure if we mentioned last week about the best place, we did mention the best place for lighting, on the door, on the window, inside the house, but in general, it's better to light in a place where everyone will see it. Some, or maybe more the Hasidish, have the minhag of lighting inside the house, and then you light for the family. Some, perhaps maybe more of the Litvish, or maybe more of the Litvish in Israel, have the minhag of lighting at the door, outside, so people from outside see you. Both minhagim have a base for them in the halacha, and both minhagim are fine. And some people, although it's not an obligation, some people light also inside and also outside. In my house, since I know my kids light the candles, so I light outside, and my kids light inside, and then we have also the candles inside and also outside. Person who is being hosted. He's being hosted somewhere else, and he has a place to sleep. He has a place to sleep. Where does he light candles? Does he light candles where he will be sleeping or where he'll be eating? Let's say you're going to your children, you're going to someone else, and where do you eat? Do you light candles where you eat or where you sleep? Says the Shulchan Aruch, your house, as we mentioned, you have to light at your house. The house is where you sleep. Okay, the house is where you sleep. So if a person is sleeping in his room, he lights there. According to the Shulchan Aruch, at the hotel, the best place for lighting candles will be the room in the hotel. Usually the people will not let you to light in the room of the hotel, but if theoretically it's possible, that will be the best place to light. There's a bar mitzvah, and you're going to a bar mitzvah, and there's many families in different places, and you are at an empty apartment, wherever it is, and you'll be eating in one place. According to the Shulchan Aruch, the best place to light is the place you are eating. And the place you are sleeping. So I got mixed up because of the Ramah. Okay, the Ramah says, Yeshomrim, some hold that indeed today, when we light inside the house, so you light where you eat, and that's the common minhag. Okay, that's where you eat. What's the Ramah saying? Why is he saying that? Part of the reason brought in the Gemara for lighting outside is when people walk next to the house and they see a house without candles, they'll start thinking, is this guy a Jew? Does he see himself part of the Jewish nation? Everyone is celebrating Hanukkah. He can't show some kind of connection to the Jewish nation with lighting Hanukkah candles, right? He should light Hanukkah candles. He should. So when there's a house and the people see that there's someone in the house and there's no candles outside of the house, so they'll start maybe thinking bad things about him, that he's not showing part of the Jewish nation. But today, says the Rama, since in any case, the common custom is to light inside the house. So everyone knows that you light inside the house, and people will assume that he lights inside the house. So therefore, he can light in his house where he will be eating. Okay, he'll be eating, because even if people see him coming to sleep in a house, he should light in the house where he'll be eating, because that's where he will be. That's where he'll see the candles.
I don't know, but I don't face the street, we face which is a, we don't face the street, we are in the mountain, we built into the mountain. We only face the Efes Sheva, whatever, it is a kilometer or two away.
So you light inside the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, you light inside the house. A person who doesn't have anyone who will see him. The sheep will see it. Yeah, the sheep will see it. If the sheep go outside and it's cold, a shepherd. And see, a person who doesn't have anyone to light for, he'll light inside the house. That became the custom in many in the diaspora, especially in times of danger, or when people didn't want to show the Judaism in public, and they were scared about it. Remember one year in Memphis, I decided it's exactly on time of the holiday of the Christians, right? So I said, everyone with lights, I need also to do a light. You have to have a light. So I bought lights from Amazon, and I made a huge Magen David on the gate. And then someone from the neighborhood said to me, "Take it off, it's dangerous. What are you doing? What?" And as an Israeli, dangerous? What do you mean? I have an Israeli flag, and that's it. Then a year afterwards, I just did a big menorah with the lights. Okay, I'm doing that's a big menorah from the lights. People will see, people know that's a Jewish place. Okay, so show your Judaism, show it outside. So maybe as an Israeli, I tend to think to light outside, but the custom is in many places in the diaspora was to light inside. And therefore, a person who's eating in one place and sleeping in one place, says the Rama, he should light in the place where he's eating. That's his main house.
Eating or sleeping? He says sleeping.
Shulchan Aruch says sleeping. The Rama says today, when in any case you light inside, and so where you eat, that's your main place. Okay. What do we do? Continue that question. Motzei Shabbat. If someone went to his family for Shabbat, and Motzei Shabbat, he's going back to his house. He's going back to his house for Motzei Shabbat. So obviously, on Friday night or before Friday, he'll light at that house. That's his house. Motzei Shabbat, where does he light? Can he light at the place where he just spent the whole Shabbat? Or should he light at his home? And the answer is it depends how long he's staying in the house. If he's one of the ones who Shabbat is out, 5 minutes afterwards or half an hour afterwards, he's packed already, he's in his car, he's on his way to his house, he should light at his house. But if he's planning to stay there a bit, have Malav and Malka together, and then afterwards go back to his house, so he can light in the place where he stayed, where he spent Shabbat. And that could be also sometimes calming down. You don't need to rush to your house after Shabbat. If you're now spending there half an hour, eating something, having a short Malav and Malka, you can light where a person stayed for Shabbat, and then he can continue on. And we have, okay, we have a few more minutes. That is good. Okay, there's a interesting halacha, which I think we know it, and sometimes it's not always relevant for us, but it teaches us more about values. If a person has only money to buy one candle, it's Shabbos, what should he spend the money on? A candle for Shabbat or a candle for Hanukkah? So this halacha isn't so much relevant for us today because candles, I checked in Rabbi Levi, they cost about 1.5 shekels, okay, maybe 2 shekels for a packet of 44 candles. So if you need just 8 candles for each night, it costs almost nothing. Okay, and also today we have electricity, so the idea of a candle for Shabbat doesn't have the same meaning it had in the past. Okay, so if a person has money just for one candle, he should buy the candle for Shabbat because it is Shlom Bait. There's even an aspect of Deoraita in not just Tadir, it's more important, but we'll see whatever you light first, you light the Hanukkah candles first. But here, Shlom Bait is important. Shlom Bait. And Shlom Bait means having peace inside your family, inside your house. And I'm mentioning the halacha more of something of a hashkafa, more of something we can learn, because some people will say, I need to be a from, I need now to do this and to take this kashrut, this mehadrin kashrut. I had a question a few weeks ago. about someone who had some event, and they had to, one of the relatives ate only a specific kashrut, and they asked them to kasher the pots before from the kosher food that they eat in order to be kasher only for this specific kashrut. And this halacha teaches us here, shlom bait is beyond, more important than Hanukkah candles. So sometimes just puts them on focus, and that's when I mentioned beforehand about being together. If it's important for the family to light Hanukkah candles together, and if not, it's something for many families, like for our family, it's a whole event. We sing together, Ma'asur, Haneot Halalu, each one takes his turn. It's really an event of people being together, the family together, about Hanukkah candles and Hanukkah. So if now people start getting nervous, and now we're 1 minute late, 5 minutes late, and because of that start fighting in the family, that's a problem. And we can see a shlom bait is more important. I'm skipping a siman. What do we light first? And we mentioned that what we light first. Do we light Hanukkah candles or Shabbat candles first? Yeah, the answer is Hanukkah candles first. Why do you light Hanukkah candles first? There's an opinion that when one lights Shabbat candles, it's already Shabbat, the accepted Shabbat on them. So although we aren't posek like that, and for sure men can light light Shabbat candles and have in mind, I even say that they are not accepting Shabbat, but we still first light the Hanukkah candles, and then we light Shabbat candles. Okay, if a man, for some reason, sometimes the man is by himself at home, or he lights Shabbat candles. Okay, he lights Shabbat candles. If a man lit first Shabbat candles by mistake, he can light afterwards Hanukkah candles. Because a man typically does not accept Shabbat while lighting candles, but women, they accept Shabbat by lighting candles, and therefore afterwards they shouldn't light Hanukkah candles. So if there's a woman and she's by herself in the house or whatever, she plans also to light Shabbat candles and also Hanukkah candles, and by mistake she first lit the Shabbat candles, so she cannot light Hanukkah candles. She can ask someone else to light, and she can say the bracha of
these candles. Every Shabbat, these Hanukkah candles have to be able to be lit into Shabbat.
Yeah. Just if a woman lights Hanukkah candles, if a woman lights Shabbat candles and she asks someone else to light for her the Hanukkah candles, she cannot say Mitzivanu Hadlik because she's not lighting. Someone else will say the Hadlik, she can say the rest of the brachot. And as you mentioned, when we light before Shabbat, we need to make sure we have long candles, long enough to last half an hour after after the stars come out. Okay, that's for half an hour. So the small lights aren't good. Tea lights are great, and that's the time to mention one more halacha of kavta ein zakukla. If I lit the candles and they're supposed to stay alight, and for some reason which doesn't depend on me, or maybe even depends on me, but it turned out, it blew out, I do not need to light them again. Mehadrin, I can light them again, but when I lit the candles, they were supposed to stay for the whole time. I could put enough oil. I didn't light them in the wind. They were supposed to stay alight for the whole time. So kavta ein zakukla. It's even if it blows out, I don't need to relight it again. There's maybe some hashkafa idea here in it, that the same in the story of Hanukkah. The Maccabees found this jug of oil. Right? They found a jug of oil. And they can say, okay, we have only one jug of oil, it will last only for 1 day. What do we do? One night, what do we do with it? The answer of Hashem is, do whatever you can. And Hashem says, I continue the rest. Do whatever you can do, and you do whatever you can. The same by lighting Hanukkah candles. I did my job, I did my mission, and Hashem, He will continue the rest. And therefore we have the din of kavta and zakukla. And then we say Hanukkah Sameach for everyone, and may we have a lot of lights.